This is the Solar Titan build I use for solo dungeons. Let's get right into it. So first thing, super. I use Hammer of Soul, but you can use Burning Maul and switch from Synthoceps to Pyrogale Gauntlets to use the super, once they get enabled of course. For the barricades, as usual, I use Rally Barricades for smaller cooldown. The jump is the one you are most used to. The melee is of course throwing hammers. As for grenades, I use healing grenades, especially in flawless runs. Now we move to the aspects, beginning with Soul Invictus. Creating sunspots with solar abilities, Hammer of Soul, and defeating scorched enemies is a must. Also, the regeneration of abilities and restoration of health inside the sunspots. And don't forget the enemies inside the sunspots get scorched too, and as mentioned before, defeating scorched enemies create more sunspots. Second aspect is Roaring Flames. Final blows with solar abilities increase the damage up to 3 times. This is one of the things that makes the damage go up, so make sure you pay attention to the buffs. Fragments are next, and we start with Ember of Solace, so that Radiant and Restoration last longer. Then Ember of Sinjin, so class abilities charge faster when you scorch enemies. This will synergize with some armor mods. After that we have Ember of Torches, so every kill you get with a throwing hammer makes you radiant. And finally Ember of Empyrean, so every kill you get with a throwing hammer extends the radiant and restoration effects. As for armor mods, for the helmet, hands on, since we are doing a lot of melee kills, might as well get some bonus super energy with it. Gauntlets, I use heavy handed, so you make orbs with throwing hammers, and focusing strike, so your class ability regens a bit when you cause damage with the melee. As I said in the other build video, I leave chest armor mods for resistance mods and ammo reserves. For the legs, recuperation for health replenishment, innervation, so your healing grenade cooldown gets reduced every time you pick up an orb. As for the class item, outreach for reduced melee cooldown after using class ability, and bomber for reduced grenade cooldown after using class ability. As far for exotic armor, Synthoceps is a must because of the 200% bonus melee damage. And another tip is, if you can of course, switch the powered melee and the normal punch key, so you can use the 2 different melees at 2 different times. And that is pretty much it. That will be all for me. Let me know if you have any corrections or additions to the build, and I'll see you next time, Guardians.